Hello, in this video I'm going to briefly talk about relative atomic mass. In another video I'll probably talk about how you can calculate relative atomic mass, but in this video I just want to highlight what it is. Now, relative atomic mass is the mass of an atom of an element relative to the atomic mass unit. And it's usually the mean mass, because often when you get naturally occurring samples of elements, they usually contain different isotopes, and so what you'd want to do is find the average of this, an overall sort of mass, because it's the same element but they're different isotopes, but it's the same element, so you want to sort of class it under one mass, so you find the average of that, and that is what we call the relative atomic mass. And this is the average mass of a specific a single atom, but it's usually not a whole number because it's found through the average of different isotopes. And relative atomic mass is represented by the symbol AR, and we can find this on the periodic table. If we look on the periodic table, for example, for if we find chlorine in group 7, Cl, we usually find the relative atomic mass somewhere around here, and for chlorine it would be 30. Let me use green. Chlorine's usually like sort of greenish. 35.5, and I think this would be 17. So these two numbers, what are these two numbers? This would be the relative atomic mass, and this would be the proton number. So the number of protons for that element, which is chlorine. Now, the formal definition for relative atomic mass is the weighted mean mass of an atom of an element and I'll use a different color here. I'll explain why. Relative to 1/12 of the mass of an atom of carbon 12. And now this is one a particular isotope of carbon. I'll write it like this: carbon 12. Now, I've written it in 3 different colors because if you were asked in a 3-mark question, for example, define relative atomic mass, these are the three areas which you'd get marks for. The first would be saying that it's the weighted mean mass. It's important to specify that it's a mean. And the second would be for saying that it's compared to relative to 1/12 of the mass of. And the third would be noting that it's an atom of carbon 12, a specific isotope of carbon. Now, this quantity here, 1/12 of the mass of an atom of carbon 12, is often represented by the symbol U, and that's the symbol U means atomic mass unit. So you can imagine if you got a bag of flour which was 1 kilogram, you'd write 1 kg, and since this 1 kilogram is like the reference point, or everything else in kilograms is a ratio between that and the kilogram, all the other things we would write as, let's say, less than 1 kilogram or higher than 1 kilogram. So let's say there was something which was 20 times greater than the thing that weighed 1 kilogram, we would represent it as 20 kg. Now, if something was 20 times, if an atom was 20 times greater than the atomic mass unit, we'd represent it as being 20 U. So that's 20 times the mass of 1/12 of an atom of carbon-12. So what we're doing on this scale is we're comparing all of the different masses to the mass of 1/12 of an atom of carbon-12. And that's basically what relative atomic mass is. As I said before, I'll make a video where I'll calculate relative atomic mass. I'll go for a worked example. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Bye.